Okay, so over the 2 videos, what we're going to do is we're going to build up a HMI screen to represent and to allow us to interact and control this mock little production line that program that I have here. Okay, so for the program itself, we just have a conveyor belt. We have control of the top couple of lines. We have a single station that when it gets to a sensor, it'll start a timer to fill the bottle. It'll do another one to empty the bottle. Then there's a little delay. Okay, so it'll allow us to see some switches, some inputs, some buttons, some outputs, some lights, and also then we'll be able to use numeric displays as well. Okay, so this is the program that we're using that we'll have sitting in the background, and this is just a little mock-up of the HMI that we want to create. Okay, so we have the system control over here with the start, stop, system on, system off. We have the conveyor down here where we have a little light on the conveyor to indicate when it's running. Okay, so when we press start, the conveyor will run. But when a bot gets to the sensor, the conveyor will stop while the processing happens, and then the conveyor will start at the end. Okay, so we can see here we'll have a light for the processing, and then we have a timer. Then to it fills, it empties, and then there's a little delay before the processing is finished, and the bottle goes on its way. All right. We're also going to create a little bottle. So we're going to use this so that we can create our own part. So we'll draw our own image, create a part, and then be able to use that part in the system and in the setup. Okay, so that's what we're heading for. And for this video, we're going to start with just the switches. Okay, so the 2-bit switches here and the start stop button. We're going to create the 2 of those. Okay, so back to GT Designer here. So on the right hand side, this is where we find all the elements we're going to be using. The very top one here are our switches. If we click on the little drop down arrow beside it, we can see the different type of switches that we have in here. So bit switch is just a bit, it's a binary switch, so the inputs to our PLCs, that's where we would have those. Okay, and then the other ones we'll get to in later videos. Okay, the word switch and the screen switch and stuff like that. Okay, so we'll just click the drop down and then we'll just click on bit switch here. Okay, once we've clicked on that, then we just come over, bring the mouse to wherever we want it on the screen, left click and drag it, and then drop. Okay, and that'll give us the switch in the rough shape that we want it. So I'm just going to drag it out here so we'll have a button like that. Okay, so then double click, and that'll allow us to edit the properties of the switch itself. Okay, so the first thing is the device. So what device have we hooked up to this switch, or what switch device is this? So this is our start. So if we go back to the program here, I've got a watch window over on the right hand side here. So X1 is my start button. Okay, so that's the device we're going to be using here. So X1. All right. We can just type in the devices there if we know them. If we don't know or we're not so sure, there's a selection window here that we can use, and this will tell us the different types of devices that we can use and allow us to type in the range here then as well. Okay. We're going to use it as a momentary switch. So this is when we press the button on the screen of the HMI. How is that button going to react? So momentary means that when our finger's on the button, it's pressing a normal button. When we take our finger off it, it releases again. Okay. We can also do set, reset, and alternate on this. For most ones that are PLC controlled, we'll have them momentary in here because that's the type of control we want. But as I said, we can set them up to the different bits here as well. Okay. If we have a lamp on it and stuff, we can do the bit on off here, and it's the X1 as well. Okay, so we're going to go into style here, and we're going to have an on off in here. Right, so here we have our lamp. Okay, our button essentially. Okay, but we can change the shape here. Now these are just images. Okay, there's a library of images there, and you can, for an on off, you can have any image you want. Okay, so you can have off as an elephant and on as a tiger, or whatever you have. You'd have to import them. They're not default in the system. But to go through the library here, we can click on shape, and it'll pop up this window for us, and then we can go through the library here. This one here will do us for the moment. Okay, and the only thing we're going to change here is we're going to make it a green for our start button. So now we have the green select. So this one here is the off, and then this one here is the on. So we just press that. Right, so it kind of gives us that image that the button is out, and then when we press it to turn it on, it looks like the button is depressing back in. Right, so just as I said, two different images we can have. Absolutely, you don't have to come out of the same library here. The two of them, they can come out of any library. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do then is first click OK on that because we've selected the style. The next thing we want to do then is text. Right, so if we want to put text on or around the button, okay. So we have text or a comment up here. The checkbox here says off equals on. So what that means is that we have the same text no matter what state the button is. All right. If we uncheck that, we can have two different states for it. Okay, so you can have one state for on and one state for off. Right, so you could have stopped and running, for instance, on something. Okay, we have a font library that we can select from. We'll stick with the old default for now. We'll stick with the default size, and the color. I think white will work well inside in the green, but we can bold, solid, or shadow, and then we can kind of give it a little bit of a 3D sort of effect, a little bit. Okay, so the text that we want to display then is down here. So we're going to type the text in here. So this is my start button. So we'll type in start. Okay, now at the moment we've center selected, so that means that it's in the center button. That's where the text is. We'll see this again in a couple of minutes when we look at a different one, but we can also put text above the button, to the left, to the right, and below the button. So that's what the ones are, selecting different text around the place. And you can have text on all 5 of those points if you want to. Okay, and usual alignment and things like that. Right, so for this one, we don't have anything in the extended that we want to do, so we've no user level or security levels or anything like that on it, and the button is always going to be there, so we don't have any display control or anything like that, so no trigger on it. Okay, like with a lot of software, just up here, we've just noticed that we've got these asterisks here. That just means we've changed something in there that we haven't saved. Okay, so we just click OK on that. So there's my button, okay, and you can see here just on the display that button is connected with X0. All right. Now the other thing we want to do is do the stop button. Okay, so just all I'm doing here is I'm holding down Control on the keyboard. I've left clicked on it and I'm dragging it down. It'll just copy it or duplicate it for me because I want the same shape. All right, all I want to do here is change the button itself, so the properties of the button, but I want the same shape and all that. So this is going to be on X0 because this is my stop. And again, down here, we'll have X0 for this. In the style, all we're going to change here is the color because, actually, sorry, we changed the color. I'm going to go into the shape here as well. It's just with the on-off one here, so normally when you wire up your PLC, your stop button will be normally closed. Okay, so we just swap the order of the two of these here so that the sorry, let's see, on that one for on and then this one for off. Okay, because it'll be on all the time, and it just looks like that button is out now. All right, so it's just a different way of looking at it. Because it's a normally closed button, we'll have that stop button connected up to, and we just want to change the text then to stop. And okay on that. So now we've got our start and our stop. So let's just go back to this little mock-up screen that we have here. So start, stop, and then we have two lamps here for the system on, and one for the system on and one for the system off. Okay, so let's do that. Actually, I forgot to put the little box around it here, so I'll do that in a moment. We'll get the lamps in first. Actually, we'll put the box in first because we're going to do the lamp in another video. So the box is just a part that we draw here. So it's just because it's not something that we're going to be changing or turning on or turning off or anything like that. Okay, so we're just clicking that, and we'll just left click and drag it into the size you want, something like that. Now it doesn't matter, we can always change it in a minute. And then I'm going to double click on the edge of the box when I get that crosshairs, and this is where I can change the style of it. So we want a fill pattern, so there's none there at the moment. 37 is the solid fill, so we'll go down to that, and then you can see the background color here has gone black. We're going to change that to just a sort of a grey color to kind of represent a control panel as such. And then we'll click OK. So that's my control panel there. The other thing that we have on the control panel here is it just says system control. So we'll do that. Okay, so we just want to get, this is a fixed text. Again, it's not going to change. So we just select the text out of the drawing options here. Again, left click and drag it so that we get where we want it, and then it pops up with the text box here. So that is system control, and again we can change the font, the size. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Okay, we can change the color. I think black will work better up there, and we'll bold it as well. All right, and then we click OK. And now we can just, when we get the crosshairs again, we can just click it and drag it just to get it where we want it. We do more on aligning and that kind of stuff as we go through it, right? But we can align the different parts here. So if I click on the start button and hold down shift and click on the stop button, I have the two of them selected now. If I right click, I can come down here to align, and I want to center these horizontally. So there they are. They were pretty good where they were. Okay, let's just try going out here just to see it. So select, hold down shift, select the second one, and then align, and align the centers. Okay, and then we can move the two of them in unison to wherever we might want them. Okay, so that's just the short video just on the bit switch. So as I said, I'm going to break these into a couple of short videos where we'll do each kind of component separately. So that's the bit switch done.